Hey there, Red Devil Nation. Welcome back to another Alumni Spotlight. Today, we are honored to have Chip Stoll, class of 1990, Dickinson Swimming, join us. Chip, thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm glad I could be here.
So before we get into your journey to Dickinson, tell us just a little bit about you, where you grew up, and how you got into swimming.
Well, I grew up in New Jersey, central New Jersey. I went to Ocean Township High School, and I spent my summers in Ocean Grove, New Jersey, which is where I live now. My father was the manager of the beaches, so it was pretty much inevitable that I would become a lifeguard here and that I would spend most of my time in the water. Swimming was second nature, lots of fun. I made incredible friendships all throughout my years of swimming.
So that's pretty cool. So you grew up basically around water. How did you get into lifeguarding, and what age did you actually start at that?
Well, I got in, again, my father was the boss, so I didn't have much of a choice. I was 15 when I started. I started part-time. I also cleaned the bathrooms. That was the important part of it. My father made sure I learned to, first of all, he taught me to never do something or ask someone else to do something that you wouldn't do yourself first. Mm-hmm. So I cleaned the bathrooms and I lifeguard on the every other day. It was what we learned to do. I grew up around the ocean, learning how to identify people who might be in trouble. So don't get me wrong. When I was 15, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I didn't recognize it right away, but I worked with a bunch of older guards who did teach me the proper way to lifeguard and to do something like that, which I've been able to share as I got older. Now that I'm no longer 15, I'm a little bit older than that now.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. And I remember you and I just talking before we even started this interview. You saying you were saying you still do this now. You lifeguard now, so you've stayed involved over the years, which is actually pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I'm very fortunate. At the end of last summer, I ran into the head guard here at the beaches, and he mentioned that they were running short on guards because the people were going back to college. I said, I'm still certified. I can sit and help. And it turns out I can still swim because that's an important part of guarding. So I still pulled people. Yeah, very important part. I've still pulled people out. And this year he asked me to come back weekends. So I've been guarding on the weekends here since June.
That's awesome. So tell us how you found Dickinson College, or maybe how they found you and your journey to Carlisle, Pennsylvania.
Dickinson, that was a great place. It was a great time, great school for me to go to. It was perfect. I was looking for a school. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I thought I wanted to be. I knew I wanted to have something in the liberal arts. I wanted an older school. I wanted something that wasn't too far from home, but wasn't too close to home. Didn't want my parents stopping by on a Saturday morning just for fun. But I also wanted to be able to go home on a Friday night if there was a need or something like that. Right. Dickinson was about 3 hours from my house. It was an older school. When I went for my tour and my interview, I met Coach McEvoy, the swimming coach back then. And I thought I wanted to continue my swimming career in college, but I didn't know what that would look like. And I met with Coach McEvoy. And from that point on, I knew I was going to be swimming in college. Whether I wanted to or not, he was going to find me and bring me to the pool however he could to make sure I continued swimming. And I did. And again, Carlisle was a great place to go. It was just far enough away from home, but still close enough to home that I didn't feel like I was too far away. And the friends I met, I'm still friends with many of the people I was friends with there. I still have a group of people I talk to regularly. And again, I feel incredibly fortunate. I'm still friends with the swimmers, which is just part of what swimming is like for me.
And that's great. And that's a great introduction into Dickinson for sure. And of course, any other college student would probably agree. You don't want to be too close to mom and dad for surprise visits. You like when you get a heads up that they're on their way.
Exactly.
Talk about your relationship with Coach McEvoy and your time in the program, what you learned and lessons that he taught you both in and out of the pool.
Oh, Coach McEvoy, like Gary is the other coach, Mike Sienkiewicz, who just passed away, who did our announcing. Coach McEvoy, first of all, I still answer my phone at work with "It's a great day" in MIS. I work in MIS. He made us answer the phone when we guarded for him. "It's a great day to take a swim." My senior year, I opened the pool for him 4 days a week, 6 o'clock in the morning, and he would call me, I would say 3 days each week, just to make sure I answered the phone properly. And then he would laugh and hang up. Sometimes he would show up to make sure I was there. I always was. I would never let him down. He taught me to always be on time, and on time is early. We all know how that works.
Yep.
practice. You made it to practice. If you didn't make the practice, you let him know. Just all the life lessons that he taught us. And to be fair, I then met Coach Richards afterwards when he took over for Coach McEvoy. And he was the same way. He was very good as well.
And you mentioned too earlier in there that you still have friends that are part of that you made from Dickinson Swimming. Talk about how you guys have kept those relationships going even after graduation, when you guys weren't together every single day practicing in the pool, in the Klein Center together, or studying in the library, and how you guys have stayed close over the years.
Recently, I mean, with the pandemic, we did Zoom calls like everyone else does, but I want to say it was 11 years ago, 4 of the guys that I swam with who were younger than me said, "Hey, we're doing a mile swim in the Chesapeake. Why don't you come join us?" And I said, "Well, that's a crazy, not very smart thing to do, but sure, why not? I'm in." We went, we still swam there. It's phone calls. Facebook for us as older people is fantastic, so you can keep in touch with people who are all over the place. We share pictures. We had a Dickinson swimming reunion in, I think, 2004, where we shared way too many pictures of things that maybe shouldn't have been taken of, but we still had them. I can't imagine if we went to school nowadays with all the social media, different things would have happened, but it was a wonderful time.
Mm-hmm. Talk about now looking maybe a little outside of the pool at your academic journey here. You said you wanted an older school, you wanted that liberal arts education. Why did you feel it was important to get a liberal arts education?
I think it was important for me for liberal arts because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I started out taking a lot of math courses, a lot of English courses, and religion courses, which was because my last name began with an S. When I registered, I took whatever courses were left, whatever courses were available. I ended up taking a computer science class, loved it, and did well. So I stayed with that for my major. One piece of advice I will give everyone is I found out something interesting my freshman year. I found out they don't take attendance. You don't have to show up for class. It turns out that when you do show up for class, you do much better.
Yeah.
My grades went up significantly when I figured out that if you go to class, you do better. And so that, for me, that was important. Dickinson was also a small school. We only had, back then, I think 1,700 students. My professors knew who I was. Mm-hmm. I was walking along in the quad or in outside of Old West, and my professor saw me, and I hadn't gone to class. It wasn't like I could turn around and walk away. He saw me, or she saw me, and asked how I was feeling, because obviously I was sick. Obviously. And that's when I started realizing that maybe I shouldn't be missing classes. They do recognize when you're not there.
Talk about how how Dickinson helped you cultivate your passion, because now you're in a career where you're working in computer science every day. That's right.
When I left Dickinson, when I graduated Dickinson, I started working for Dickinson in the computer science department, in the IT department. And then I moved over to Monmouth University. And be honest, I've never left higher education. I've been working in higher ed now for 30 years. And part of that is watching. When I worked at Dickinson, I was watching the kids I went to school with, the people I went to school with, and just realizing that what I was doing at work was helping them do better in their education. Gave me the idea to just continue to do that. So I still, working in what I do now, I work for a university that's fully online. We've always have been, but we're a public school, and making sure that the students have a good student experience so they can complete their education and reach their goals is really very rewarding.
Why do you think that you feel accomplished by giving them that rewarded experience and that opportunity to continue their education? What about this field of higher education really speaks to you and makes you feel that way, that you are rewarded for your hard work?
So again, we're fully online, but we do have an in-person graduation commencement ceremony once a year, and we're required to go, but it's really not a hard requirement. I love going because I can see any student who's graduated in that past year can come and attend that ceremony, walk across the stage and receive their diploma from our president. And just the stories that you hear, the people, we have students, we're in a more adult school, but you see students who are in their 60s and 70s getting their bachelor's degree for the first time. And just the sense of accomplishment and the pride that they feel and how good you feel about helping them, even a little bit, along their journey to get to what they wanted and to help them reach their goal.
Mhm. And you said you started at Monmouth. Now you're at Thomas Edison University. Talk about your journey from starting at Dickinson towards Monmouth, and now for your almost decade run at Thomas Edison.
Yeah. So yeah, I started at Dickinson, went over to Monmouth. Monmouth is closer to home. I was ready to go home, and then from there I went to a community college, Ocean County College, and worked there for a while, and that was rewarding as well. And but then Thomas Edison State University called, and that was a great place to move to help them. It's a 4-year school. Helped me get my MBA. That was fantastic. That was a lot of fun. In some ways, Dickinson was harder. In some ways, it prepared me very well in terms of writing for the MBA program. There's a lot of writing in that. And my courses at Dickinson, even in computer science, had so much writing that it helped me do that.
Well, that's great. And just having finished my MBA about a year ago now, I can certainly attest to the amount of writing that I did in a business administration course.
Yes, a lot of writing. And good thing I can type.
Yeah, no, that was a great skill to have for those courses, the typing,
Yes.
because there were a lot of 5 to 10 page papers each week that when I really started thinking back and tallying up the page total, I was really amazed at how many pages I really would have written over that time.
That's right. It's amazing. It really is.
When you look back at your time at Dickinson and since your graduation, what do you think those lessons that you learned from the professors and you learned from Coach McEvoy how have they applied to your life now, getting your MBA, working at multiple universities? How have you been able to pull on those lessons that you learned here at a liberal arts college to help you in your current endeavors?
It was never stop learning first. That was one of the things, and Coach McEvoy taught us all the time how to do a stroke better. But even outside of that, just different life lessons, how to budget your time to make sure you made time for practice, but made time for school and made time for social activities outside. Because he said, swimming and school is not your whole life. You're going to be doing things afterwards. Professors were the same way. They wanted you to get your work done. They wanted to make sure you had your homework done or your papers, your other assignments, but they also told you to do other things. The one thing I regret about my time at Dickinson was I didn't take advantage of all the opportunities that they had. There's an art center. It's a whole art building. I went in there maybe 3 times to see things. I went there for class.
Right.
I didn't take advantage of the artwork that was being displayed, the displays, the recitals that were taking place. We had some amazing musicians that I didn't listen to enough. We had theater. I went to maybe 2 plays. I should have gone to all of them because, again, people worked hard and they did amazing jobs.
Right.
And by the time I was a senior and went to these things and saw them, I realized I had missed out on 3 years before that of things I could have seen.
Right. Yeah, certainly. As an alum myself, I can look back and say maybe should have gone. I don't think I ever went to a play. I know I went to a couple recitals because I had friends who were in the orchestra. I had friends who sang and were musicians. So we'd always go and support them, which was great, having those connections even outside of playing football, but being able to have those other friends in other areas, you were able to go support them. But certainly the Trout Gallery, I know I only went probably a handful of times, and that was for class. I don't think I ever just walked over just to go see it. And now that I'm back on campus, I at least get an opportunity to go make those attempts to go a little bit more now. So
there's some amazing things that the school offers that again, I mean, I'm 18, 19, 20, 21, however old I was in school. I wasn't thinking that way back then.
Right.
But now, again, I'm sitting in the lifeguard stand. I'm 52 years old. I'm staying with kids, and they are kids who are going to college for the first time. And the last thing I tell them as they leave for the year is take advantage of everything that school has to offer. Go to the plays, go to the art gallery, listen to concerts, do whatever. You don't have to do them all, but don't not do any of them. Do some of them because it's very rewarding.
And when you now are, talking, like you said, you get an opportunity to talk to these younger kids, to talk to them about their college experiences. If some of them are looking at colleges, why would you encourage a Dickinson education and a liberal arts education to them?
First of all, again, Dickinson is a perfect size for me. It's a perfect size for most people. It's not too many. It's not too few. You can find your niche. You can find your people. You can find what you want to do. But again, because it's a liberal arts, you can explore. You have the opportunity to take courses outside of your major that might pique your interest somewhere else. And that's so important. And again, never stop learning. So.
And last couple questions for you as we wrap up our time together.
Absolutely.
As a Red Devil, what gave you so much pride in wearing a Dickinson uniform and being able to represent Dickinson every single day you stepped onto the pool deck and even were off of the pool deck?
I liked everything about it. I liked the Dickinson. I liked the Red Devil. I liked wearing, I mean, it sounds silly. I liked wearing the red. I loved swimming for Coach McEvoy. He was an amazing influence on not just me, but on a lot of people. And I like the friendships I made. We had a great team. We didn't always win. We didn't always lose. We did well. But we had a great time doing it all the time. And even the other friendships I made, we didn't always do the right things. We made some stupid mistakes. It's a good time to do it. I still could be charged as an adult, but you can kind of get away with it in college. But it helped me learn not to make those mistakes as I was getting older.
Right.
And doing that.
Oh, absolutely. And then as an alum, why do you also feel that it's important to give back to these college students and to maybe educate them a little bit and help guide them and then offer them career advice and life advice as they evolve as from, young boys and girls when they arrive on campus at 18 years old to young men and women when they graduate?
Absolutely. I was fortunate and I had people giving that kind of advice to me. I didn't always take advantage. I didn't always think, no, these people don't know what they're talking. I thought these people don't know what they're talking about. I know what I'm doing. And I didn't. I was an idiot. Now, I'm 18, 19 years old. I think I knew it all. I had no idea. So the fact that now I know a little bit more and I know what I didn't know and I know what they don't know, just to help them get an idea of maybe help guide them through some rough spots. Let them know there's someone out there who has gone through it and can talk to them about that. Is so important. And they can look at me as the old guy who has no idea what I'm talking about, because sometimes that's true. I just talk. And anyone who knows me knows I talk sometimes way too much.
And the last question for you, when we can compete again?
Yes.
And the swimmers are back in the pool here. We just named a new coach, Katie McCardle.
Yep.
What are your expectations for her and this program as she continues to build on the legacies of Coach McEvoy, then to Coach Richards, and now to her?
Well, I assume that we're never going to lose a swim meet again. And we're going to have to break all the pool records like we always do. And no, I'm sure she'll have do a great job coaching the kids, giving them life lessons, helping them. I still swim every morning, or almost every morning, but now it's in the ocean with a small group of people. Keeping that love of swimming alive in each of the swimmers, so that they do it for the rest of their lives. It's a great activity, and keep the Dickinson spirit and the Dickinson legacy alive. Yeah.
And that's great. And I can certainly attest to it's a great activity, having just gotten into triathlons in the last couple of years and never being a good swimmer myself, now being in the pool to train for those, I've actually found it very enjoyable and a challenge. And I've always enjoyed a challenge.
Yes. I did a biathlon a few times, which is just a run and a swim. Swim was first. I could swim. I was at the water way in front of everyone, and then people running, and there's no one's chasing me. There's no reason to run that fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there usually isn't.
No.
Well, Chip, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and talk about your experience and share your stories of Dickinson and why you are proud to represent Dickinson Red Devils.
You're very welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. And we look forward to seeing you back on campus when we are finally open and swimming again.
I look forward to it. I'm looking forward to my next swim in the Klein Center pool.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you soon. Okay.
Thank you. And don't forget, it's a great day to take a swim.